It's been said that better questions lead us naturally to better answers, and that it's in not knowing that we open the doorway to knowing. I'm Scott Lennox, and you're listening to The Beautiful Question, a consideration of things that truly matter in a complex world. When was the last time you experienced true inner stillness or true silence? When I ask this question of most people, they tell me they can't remember. Since stillness is so vitally important to living well and so seldom experienced by most people, it's a subject I come back to again and again in these newsletters and podcasts. Join me this week as we stand for a while in the quiet beside the Brazos River, and then consider ways of becoming still from the inside out. Stay with me. I think you'll like what you hear. This week, I'll begin with a free-form poem I wrote almost 2 decades ago about a moment that catalyzed something powerful in me during a time when I was struggling harder than I'll tell you. The poem is about the transforming power of silence and deep stillness, and the magical event that quietly changed me for the better. Deer at dusk. In fading light, the Brazos whispered its way south, and I stood studying, trying to grasp the strength and the delicacy, the quiet and unyielding power of the water, the living lace of the vines and oaks on the farther bank. I didn't know it, but I wasn't alone. Another watcher, a yearling doe, was very near. Startled, she leapt from her hiding place, crashed through the brush and out into the shallow river where fish darted for cover among the rocks. She stopped, midstream, turned and watched me in perfect stillness, then snorted loudly, taking in the crisp air in deep gulps, testing, tasting, her breath hanging in front of her. Then, just as quickly as she appeared, she flew with utter grace into the trees on the other side, stopping for one last glance before she disappeared. For a long while, and a while again, silence embraced me. At a time when I'd been physically and emotionally depleted and my strength was only very slowly returning, I spent countless days and evenings standing beside the Brazos River where it flows behind my youngest sister's home. I've loved being near the river since I was a boy. Listening and watching, I had no other goal than to simply be there. It was during that incredibly difficult time that a number of delightful surprises came to me. One of the most memorable was that young doe leaping from her hiding place just a few feet from where I was standing. For at least half an hour, I'd been standing as still as I could, quietly watching the slowly changing light as it washed over and through the trees and vines on the other side of the river. Entranced as I watched, something inside me fell into lived resonance with what I saw and heard. Without consciously doing a single thing to make it happen, everything in me slowed down, and I became more peaceful. Naturally, I have no idea what caused her to do it, but when the deer suddenly moved, I didn't react at all. I stayed perfectly calm as she leapt past me and then jumped out into the shallow water. When she stopped to look back at me and then ran away, I was fascinated that she went to the very spot I'd been watching before I was aware of her. While I can still feel the effect of it, I'm sure I'll never be able to adequately describe what happened next. Like a gentle surprise, the immense silence of that moment seemed to open its arms and welcome me, holding me within it like a warm embrace. I openly admit that I have an extremely sensitive nature, but something about that experience took me through a mystical door in me that was unexpected and quite beyond my imagining. I became part of everything around me and was consciously connected to everything inside me. As the light continued to slowly fade, I could feel the silence growing deeper and richer, and in the stillness of it, I felt peace spreading into every part of me in ways that I still have difficulty putting into words. Now, I know that stillness as well as I know my own hands, and I know that I can always call on it when I need it. Smiling as I walked back up to my sister's house as it grew dark that evening, I knew, absolutely knew, that no matter what was going to happen to me, I would be okay. In the almost 2 decades since that wondrous moment, I've learned that we don't have to have a mystical experience to become still. We only have to be mindful as we intentionally allow it to happen. As I've shared many times, it's out of true inner stillness that clarity and peace naturally and spontaneously arise. That evening in the woods beside the river, the stillness around me helped the stillness inside me to emerge. Let me say that another way. A temporary experience outside me inspired and catalyzed the emergence of something that had always been inside me. Since then, I've become increasingly intentional about what's referred to as walking meditation, or what I call living meditation. By that, I'm saying that we don't have to be sitting in the lotus position, or retreat from the world on a mountaintop, or stand in the woods beside a river to become still inside. It's a chosen and practiced state of awareness that we carry with us everywhere and is always available to us. Just for fun, imagine that you're sitting or standing in a place where things are actively going on around you. Perhaps imagine the movement of traffic, or the people you live with, or the people you work with. As you watch what's happening, imagine yourself mentally taking a casual step back, just one, detaching as you participate a little less and quietly observe a little more. As you slightly disengage, notice what happens inside you. One of the first things you'll notice is that most of your internal pressure to react has simply vanished. You let it go when you stepped away. Another is that you're breathing in a more relaxed way, and your heart rate is slowing down. As you step back, you're watching from the place of acceptance and compassion and wisdom that are always in you, always. The more conscious and intentional you become about staying in that released place, the clearer and the more expansive your awareness becomes, and the calmer you are. What a self-healing and self-nourishing cycle that is. As it turns out, you don't have to be a so-called accomplished or enlightened master to attain a state of stillness and inner silence, a state of contentment or peace. You only have to quietly and gently allow it to emerge inside you. The rest happens as naturally and free of resistance as the movement of the water in the river. This week's beautiful questions are designed to encourage exactly that. Here's the first one. Are you willing to become still enough to allow silence to embrace you from the inside out? Question 2. As you practice disengaging, or what we might call detachment, for several short periods throughout the day, what do you notice about the quality of your thoughts, about your overall awareness, and about how you feel? Number 3. As you gently extend those periods of detached stillness, allowing them to lengthen without any force at all, what do you notice about the ways you're treating yourself and the ways you're treating others? And finally, question 4. As you make this self-quieting practice a regular part of your daily experience, what do you notice about the quality of your sleep, how refreshed you feel, and how much more energy you have during the day? I'm eager to hear what happens in you and around you as you gently and intentionally put your responses to these questions into practice. Write and tell me about it. As I say each week, my light with your light. Thank you again for listening. My goal is for each of us to live better lives and create better possibilities for ourselves, for one another, for the world, and for our beautiful planet home. I always look forward to your comments and your feedback. You can also be inspired by visiting my good friends at Cosmos Journal. That's KOSMOS Journal. Their mission is to inform, inspire, and engage global transformation in harmony with all life. You can easily find them online at cosmosjournal.org. And while we're still under construction, you can now find my free podcasts and guided relaxation audios on the new Beautiful Question website at thebeautifulquestion.com. That's all one word. When the site is completed, you'll find the transcripts of these podcasts and links to a number of other offerings to challenge and inspire you. There'll also be a library in which you can quickly find podcasts arranged by topic. I think you're going to like how easy the site will be to navigate. As always, if you find these podcasts useful or encouraging, don't hesitate to share them and tell others about them. I'm Scott Lennox, and this has been The Beautiful Question. The Beautiful Question is a One Light production, written, produced, and engineered by Scott Lennox at Heart Rock Studios in Fort Worth, Texas, as a way of paying forward to life, being fully present, becoming better engaged with things that truly matter in a complex world, and committing to a healthier future for all of us.